As I listened to that, the podcast jingle, that was Aaron the violinist. Shout out to Aaron, who I motherfucking met when I was on tour, which at this point seems like a long time ago. I digress. As I listened to that, I can't help but think of the original lyrics. The original lyrics to the podcast jingle, and it says, listen to it every Wednesday. Well, I can't help but feel like that was quite an empty lyric. A very empty lyric. Be like, Chris Brown having a song dedicated to Rihanna about being peaceful to her. Be like, I don't know. I don't want to get all fucking hacky, but R. Kelly having a song about not peeing on you. I don't know. I'm just saying that it's a fucking lie. It's a lie. Alas, how long has it even been since the last podcast I put out? I don't know. I have no excuses. I will say that I'm just not a perfect person, man. I'm not perfect. I ain't no perfect man. I'm trying to do the best that I can. But am I? Am I trying? The first half of that Most Def lyric was accurately describing me. I ain't no perfect man. The second half, I'm trying to do the best that I can. Jesus, if this is the best that I can do, I might as well give up podcasting, because I haven't put out a podcast since at least November, if not fucking October. Last time I put out a podcast, I had just gone to a Halloween party. And now it's about to be Valentine's Day. I skipped Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Jeez, oh flip, you know? I don't know why. I just was about to say Jesus Christ, and I said jeez, oh flip instead. And like I've talked about before, you think God, if he's real, if Christianity is real, you think he doesn't fucking know what you're doing there? You think he doesn't know that gosh darn means goddamn? You think he's too dumb? He's smart enough to know everything that everybody's thinking and doing in the entire earth at one time, but he doesn't know that you're disguising Jesus Christ by saying geez, oh flip, or cheese and rice. You think he doesn't fucking know that anyway. Digressions. I don't even know where to start. Since my last podcast, there's been a whole new development in America. There's been developments around the world, developments in politics, developments in my own personal life. I thought I was going to do the podcast when I went on tour. The tour was in November and December. And I've been off tour for a month and I haven't even done a podcast. I will admit, last week I sat down to do a podcast and it just wouldn't flow. Just wouldn't come out of my stupid mouth. I tried to open up my brain. The brain, which is the source of the water, the reservoir. Then there's like some type of tube that comes to the mouth, which is the faucet in your household. And you know what? I just couldn't connect the two. Couldn't connect the dots. Couldn't flow. But here I am today, trying to get back into my podcast world. I'm a podcast girl. Madonna's in the news today. Huh? Material girl? Material world? Podcast girl? I'm not a girl, I'm a man. Women are in the news. Women's March, huh? Madonna's in the news, huh? Men are in the news, Donald Trump. I haven't done a podcast since Donald Trump. Now he is the president. I haven't done one since he got elected president. I don't even know where to start on that, y'all. I don't even know what you want me to say about that. I know some of you are probably fucking ecstatic. Some of you are very mad. Some of you are like, stop talking about politics and write a rap. So I'm not even going to get into that. I will say that I'm really feeling I'm a little off today. I'll tell you why. Last podcast I did, I probably was off of cigarettes and alcohol for a while. Let me tell you something. When you go on tour, that's hard to do. It's hard to stick to your guns. It's hard to stick to those goody two-shoe guns when you got all that free time and you get off the stage, you need to relax. What are you going to do? They give you free beer at every venue. You drink one and you drink two. It's like, y'all are probably thinking I'm back to like the old complete degenerate ways. Well, I'm not fully back to it, but I will tell you this. Today, Monday, whatever fucking date it is, January 23rd. Yet again, for fucking, for the 25th, at least 25th time in my life, I'm quitting cigarettes. And this time, I'm really feeling it today. I'm feeling that anger. I went to the grocery store. I got mad at people. Not like I didn't get in any altercations. But I fantasized about altercations. Altar boy vacations. I fantasized about altercations with various other shoppers, as well as the grocers themselves. In the modern day world, world of supermarkets, who is the grocer? Is everybody that works there considered a grocer? Or is that word so old and trivial? Because really the only grocer is the owner of the grocery store. And now the owner of Ralph's, or who knows, Ralph probably lives in some exclusive neighborhood next to the guy that owns Nestle. Next to the guy that, what's the guy's name? The Exxon CEO that's about to be the Secretary of State. Man, our shit's fucked up over here, y'all. I'm not gonna spend all this podcast talking about Donald Trump, but I will say this. Still doesn't seem real, huh? Doesn't seem like a real thing's happening. I found out a couple of weeks ago or months ago or whenever the fuck I found out this fact. I don't know everything about politics. I don't know anything about anything. Everything about anything. I don't know much, but I know I love you. Did you know that, we have the system of checks and balances here in America? We have the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch. It's very hard to pronounce, apparently. When you talk about our government system of checks and balances, it is very difficult to say the judicial, that's the hard one. Judicial, the book of Deuteronomy, legislative, judicial, and executive branches of government. The reason we have the three branches, executive being the one with the president, legislative being the one with the Senate and the House, and judicial being the Supreme Court and all the courts, is for checks and balances. So not one branch can have too much power. Not one branch can have too much power. But what I found out recently, there is only one thing really. There's only one thing really where the president of the United States has unlimited power and it doesn't need to get any type of permission from anybody and can just do it on a whim, and that's nuclear bombs. Do you know it's totally like okay and legal for the president to just fucking hit the button whenever the fuck he wants? It was like, that's like a leftover rule from the Cuban Missile Crisis. Because you never know how fast we're going to need to strike, and any bureaucratic measures can take too long if you need to fucking strike in a minute or two. So the president has fucking total control over that. And when they wrote that rule, they probably didn't think we'd have say what y'all will. Say what y'all will about Donald Trump. But he's a bit mentally unstable. Can't handle a lot of criticism. And if he can't handle fucking Saturday Night Live, who's to say he's going to be able to handle what's his name? North Korea dude, Kim Jong-un. He talk a little bit of shit. Donald Trump wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. Melania forgets to give him his little whatever she gives him. I don't fucking know. What else is going on? I got problems. You think I'm doing perfect? You think I'm all right? You think a motherfucker like me ain't got problems? You think everything's just all fucking peaches and banana cream pies over here? You think everything's just... Yeah, I'm feeling rusty as far as podcasting goes, y'all. Feeling a little bit rusty. Trying to flow. I ain't got no notes today because so many things have happened. I mean, what I should have done, first of all, what I should have done is I should have done the podcast while I was on tour, A. B, I should have done the podcast right when I got off tour so I could talk about the tour and I could tell tour stories. At this point, I forgot all that shit. I met a bunch of y'all. I met so many podcast listeners, so many podcast emailer-inners. And I have, when I get to the questions and comments, I wrote down some of the names of the people I met, and I'll shout y'all out. Shot y'all out. Shout, whatever the fuck it's called. Shout you out. Shot you out. Give you a shout out. Give you a shot out. See, I don't even know what I do on my podcast anymore. How do you even upload this thing? Where does this go? What is a pie? I don't even know what a podcast is. I'm off, man. I'm off base. I'm off in general. There's no nicotine in my body as has been the daily routine for the last few months. Today I'm starting up a new period of health. Turning over a new leaf. The new leaf, I'm turning over the same fucking leaf. At this point, what was once a new leaf that I turned over, I've turned over something. I mean, there's only two sides to a leaf. Just like a coin, heads or tails. If there's a heads or tails to the new leaf that I've turned over, trust me, it's no longer a new leaf. That shit is so dirty on both sides because of how many times I've turned that fucking leaf over. Again and again and again. It just looks like an old leaf. I need to actually go get a new leaf. Do something different, man. I don't know exactly what I need to do. But, you know, we all got problems. I got drinking problems, smoking problems. I got girl problems. Going through some girl problems, you know. I'm not going to talk about that. But, you know. I'm here. A lot of people thought that I would turn over. Just let myself get fucked. Nope. Not me. I don't allow myself to get fucked. I might allow myself a little bit of foreplay. People trying to seduce me. But you know what? I don't allow. It never gets to the point where I allow myself to get fucked. Okay? I'm going to turn over that new leaf. I'm going to keep pushing. The sky's the limit. I don't even know, man. All right, this is going to be a podcast that's dedicated to everybody listening that's on acid. Because you got to be on acid to be with me today. I'm not on acid. That's not what I meant. But I do feel a little hallucinogenic. I feel a little hallucinatory. I feel a little imaginative. I feel like my imagination is running wild and it's not going in order. My imagination, my brain flow is working like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Starts at the end, ends at the start. What else is going on? So, did y'all hear that Donald Trump is president? Did you hear that? If you didn't know that, you definitely don't have Facebook or Twitter. And I'm going to be honest with you for a second. I've been spending actually too much time keeping up with the news about politics. I can't help it, man. It's fucking interesting. I mean, there's never been something like this that's happened in the United States. There's never been like this fucking rogue, like completely rogue leader who's doing everything off the books. And I just find maybe this has affected my podcasting. Maybe this has affected it. I don't know. But I've been spending a lot of time, especially considering the fact that I don't have a real job. Been spending a lot of time just bullshitting. Like I check Donald Trump's Twitter like every day. I look at trending topics and seeing what's going on in politics like every day. And on one side, it's like, can you blame me? This shit is interesting. This is a historic time. It's worth paying attention to. It's worth following. But at the same time, it's just time consuming. I spend a lot of time doing this. That's why I haven't done a podcast. I haven't really got my ducks in a row. You know, it's already almost the end of January. And you know how people are. I'm a person. I'm just like normal people. In January, you kind of tell yourself to step your game up because it's a new year, new you, and you're going to fucking kill it this year. I tell myself those things. But I haven't really thought that until today. Today is the day I stopped bullshitting. I gave myself some time. I worked hard on that tour. People think that tour is just all fun and games. But you know what? That shit is exhausting. It's exhausting, man. So, you know. So you need like a week to relax afterwards. Unfortunately for me, it's really been like 4 weeks. Don't get me wrong. I've been working. I've been writing some music. I've been writing some motherfucking music. Haven't been doing no podcast though until today. Today I'm back with a podcast. And I'm not, you know what? I'm not going to beat myself up about the fact that this podcast 126, is a little off kilter. It's a little improvisational, nonsensical, whimsical, if you will. What can you do? What else is going on, y'all? What else is going on? Did you hear? Did you hear? Donald Trump is president. I can't believe it still, really. I can't believe that Donald Trump is president. He's already... I'm not even going to talk about it, man. There's too many things. Every day it's a new thing. And I haven't podcasted in 3 months. Every day it was a new thing. Tweeting some crazy shit. When I was a little kid, the vice president's name was Dan Quayle. He spelled a word wrong. He spelled potato wrong. And I don't even think his mistake, looking back at it, I don't even think his mistake was that bad. Like when you spell potato, it's P-O-T-A-T-O. And when you spell potatoes, you have to add an E to make the plural work. Now, the word toe, the toes on your fucking feet, T-O-E. You add the S, good to go. Good to go. Well, go is an example of one where you say, have to add the E to make it plural, huh? Or hoe, depending on what kind of hoe you're talking about. But this motherfucker, Dan Quayle, I think he was like in a classroom with kids. And they were doing like a spelling thing. And a kid spelled potato. And Dan Quayle goes, well, almost. You're going to have to add the E to the end. And he never lived that shit down. He never lived that shit down. Like that was what he was known for. Probably still is. And every single day, like, I mean, maybe not every single day, but I mean, for a while there was a period of time where every single day on Twitter, Donald Trump would spell some shit or do some grammatical shit way worse than that. And he's just so consistently outside the box, unintelligent in the classic sense, like not book smart, unprecedented. There's a bunch of other ones. Honored, Honered. There's so many fucking times he misspelled shit. God, I feel fucking, of course, now I can't think of them. But he's just created this thing where it's like, well, if you do it every day, who cares? He's just, I don't know, man. I can't even believe it. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, like I said before. What else is going on? I didn't write anything down for this podcast. Thank you so much to everybody that came out to see the tour. Shout out to my boys, the Palmer Squares, my boy DJ Skits, our tour manager, Lauren. Our other person that toured with us for half the tour, Ben. Had a great time on the tour. We went all over the place. I'm really, really sorry. I got to apologize to everybody. We were going to do a show in Newport Richey, Florida, which was right outside of Tampa. And I know that a lot of people were really mad that we didn't end up doing the show. And I just want to say I'm sorry. Especially just, I know a couple of you guys, Joey from Alabama, shout out to you. I know a lot of you guys drove far and actually, because the show was canceled so last minute. And I feel shitty about that even to this day. Feel fucking terrible about it, but I promise you there was nothing I could really do. That was just something that had to be canceled on some dumb shit. When you do these tours, everything doesn't always work out. You're going to have your good things and your bad things, your high points and your low points, your ups and your downs. But the ups on this tour, I would say, were all the people that came out and the shows themselves. The actual shows, the sets, the energy, the love that we felt coming back from you guys was amazing. I saw so many people, man. We did so many shows. We did like 40 shows. Small towns, big towns, big turnouts and small turnouts. We sold out the show in Chicago, and then like the next day, we played it like in a 1,000-seat theater in Lafayette, Indiana. I think there was like 40 people there. So it was an interesting one because it's one thing to play in front of 40 people at a dive bar. So room for 1,000, and there's 40 there. It doesn't look that great, but it was actually really, really fun. Sometimes you just got to perform for the people that are there. And if you think about it, to have 40 people come to see you in a town of, I'm lying if I said I've ever even heard of Lafayette, Indiana before. It's a beautiful place. But I'd be lying if I'd said I'd heard of that town before this tour. And to have 40 people come, it's fucking amazing. People come to see you in Bozeman, Montana, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Ames, Iowa. Not to mention fucking New York City, Miami, Chicago, Philly, Cleveland, Seattle, Portland, all over the fucking place. It's a real blessing, man. It's a real blessing to be able to do that. It's a real blessing to hear stories from some of you guys about how the music has helped you. Some of you guys are really dedicated. From the deepest depths of my heart, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love. And it's crazy, man. Now you can really affect people with your music and with your art. It's fucking crazy. Think about music is a weird thing because it's really just like some melodies and rhythms and shit, but if you get it right, and there's been a lot of times where you'd be, I don't know, just generally I'll say this, whether the song is some happy, uplifting song like Three Little Birds by Bob Marley, everything's going to be all right, or if it's the most fucking depressing emo shit, but if you're depressed and you listen to it, it somehow cheers you up. It's just, I guess that's what, I don't know. It's weird how music is like this healing thing. And I think what it is it just gets you out of your misery. Everything is all like an extension of meditation. Like meditation is supposed to be just being in the moment, being away from your thoughts, and just like basically concentrate on your breathing until you're just there, existing. I think music is just like that. You have to give your full attention to the music. And it takes you away from your fucking suffering, which is an experience that all human beings share, the experience of suffering. We do drugs and alcohol because it takes us away from those thoughts as well, temporarily. I heard Russell Simmons say that meditation and doing hard drugs is really the same thing. You're really just trying to quiet your brain. Except meditation actually quiets it. And doing drugs just fuzzes it up like a fucking, like remember old school TVs when the channel wasn't coming in right. Or the radio if you're far away from the antenna, you know. But they really serve the same purpose. We do them for the same reasons. And I think that's why, you know, a lot of like actors and musicians and shit that are old that used to do drugs. That's why they're kind of like hippie dippy spiritual types now. Because the ones that didn't make that transformation from drugs to, you know, fucking yoga or whatever, they died. They fucking died, you know. Because, you know, living that lifestyle, it's very easy to spend a lot of time fucked up. I will say, though, that interestingly enough, for me personally, after coming off of this tour, like, yeah, I drank alcohol on the tour, you know what I mean? But I'm responsible enough that I'm not going to get drunk before my show, you know? So most nights, once I do the set and then I sign stuff for people and take pictures and do the merch table shit, the meet and greet, it's usually damn near 2 a.m. at least by the time I'm done with everything. So then I have like my first or second beer and I'm ready to go to fucking sleep. So I actually have more problem with the whole addiction-y shit when I'm just home by myself. The whole idle time is the devil's workshop shit. So I don't even know how I got on that tangent, but did you guys hear Donald Trump? All right, well, let's get into some questions and some shout-outs, shall we? All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. First off, there was a lot of you guys, a lot of podcast listeners who came out to the shows. I met Ghost in the Pines, Tara M, Ed from Chicago, who I've met many times already. Shout out to you, Ed. Nate the Plate, Big D, Aaron the Violinist, Mike from Long Branch, New Jersey, Petey Machete, too many others. Raul, Raul, in Baltimore, somebody proposed on stage at my show. She said yes. Congratulations. And dude, there were so many people that I feel bad. I shouldn't even say that I met people at the show. I can't talk. I shouldn't even say that I met you guys at the shows because it's only going to mean that I forget somebody. I already know I forgot to mention some people that I met. But I apologize if I did. And thank you so much for coming out. Here's some shout outs for today. By the way, Nate the Plate, who is the originator of the amazing saga of people saying their names that rhyme on Wax's podcast. The first person to do that was Nate the Plate. And Nate the Plate actually came to one of my shows and handed me a little document. It's a 2.5 page document. Looks like a book report from high school. It's the origin story. The origin story of Nate the Plate. I haven't even read it yet. I wanted to be the first time I read it while I read it on the podcast. So after I go through the shout outs and the questions, I think we're going to end today's podcast with me reading the Nate the Plate name origin story that he handed me at a venue, which I believe was in Denver. Was that Denver where you gave me that shit, Nate? I can't even remember, dude. Damn, I can't even remember where Nate the Plate is from. Damn. All right. Shout outs. Pooya from Iran. Mike in Portland. Chris M in Michigan. Ghost in the Pines. Ryan T. Heath from North Florida. The Instagram page, Soup or Sounds. He posts a song every day and used my song as his first post. Shout out to you. Big D, who came to the show in Buffalo. Mike from Long Branch, New Jersey, who came to 2 of the shows. I actually hung out with Mike from Long Branch, New Jersey at a bar in New York City after that show. Thanks for coming through, Mike. We got Henry D, a.k.a. High Def the Chef, a.k.a. Earl Firebird. We got Ed from Chicago. Shout out to you, Ed, who was also at the Lafayette, Indiana show. And we got Eric in Fresno, another place where we did a show at in Fresno. Had a place called Strummers, which was a fun show as well. God damn. First of all, the tour seems like a long time ago now, and Fresno was one of the first shows. That seems like forever ago. All right. Yo, Wax, this is Jacques the Sock. Hope the process of changing your old habitual ways are going well for you. Nope. And I truly mean that, and not on some superficial appeasement. You said you want to bring more happiness into people's lives and do less depressing music, but songs like No More Heroes and I Ain't a Real Man. No More Heroes isn't exactly the name of the song, but that's okay. I know what song you're talking about. And I Ain't a Real Man are really sobering and inspirational. Having reality checks are just as important as positivity, especially when too much positivity fogs up your apprehension. I love the positive music too, but don't forget you have fans who enjoy the introspective Wax too. Much love. I know this email is long. Sue me. Actually, it's a really short email compared to some of the emails I get. Thank you, Jock the Sock. Yet, many things in this email have callbacks to earlier episodes. Callbacks to things I mentioned recently in this podcast that you're currently listening to. Jock the Sock. That's an example of somebody who emails the podcast and has a blah, 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 the rhyme it name. All originated by Nate the Plate. Later on, we'll hear his story. Why can I not talk today? Later on, we will hear his origin of his name. Story that he handed me. A Word document. Times New Roman font. With, on the top, he actually centered and bolded and made a bigger font for the title. Nate the Plate origin story. And then it looks like he went in with the paragraphs and the double spaced. Good job. This is a man that was educated. This is something that Donald Trump could probably not do. That's another funny thing about Donald Trump. When Donald Trump talks about computers, he sounds old. He sounds mad old. Look up anything that's. There's a few compilations of him talking about like computers and cybersecurity and his 10-year-old that's so good at computers. I'd like to see Donald Trump type. I bet you that fool types with one finger. Anyway, another thing that Jock the Sock mentioned is and this is just a coincidence. I was just going off on a tangent, but yeah, positive music and depressing music can both have positive consequences on people's lives. I don't know why that is, but I can tell you this. I'm trying to be kind of done making depressing music because I've just done a lot of it. Kind of said all I have to say about being depressed. I've done all the stereotypes. Sung about drugs, sung about women. What else is going to depress me? And I mean, until I have a kid that lets me down, or I have a really bad death in my life, I haven't had a song about that, I don't think. I'm going to try to maintain some positive. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. You can't even write like that. I've come to realize, you're always learning when it comes to being an artist or a musician or a songwriter or whatever. The thing that you learn time and time again, you never realize, you can't really plan what you're going to write about. You can't plan that shit. You can't tell yourself, I'm going to write all about the sunshine, all about the positive happiness. And then something happens to you. You don't stop yourself from writing something because you had some streamlined idea of where you wanted to be as far as ideas and themes. You got to do what you got to do. You just got to get that guitar out, go sit on that beach, smoke yourself a joint, and let it take you where it's going to take you. You know what I mean? Hey, we got one from Kareem, a.k.a. Miracle from Vienna. Congrats on the new mixtape and getting back out on the road. That's every musician's dream, man. It is. This brings me to a question I wanted to ask you, since the topic has been affecting me quite a bit lately. Perhaps it's something you could discuss on the podcast. How do you get out of a funk? I think any creative person can relate to the situation, sort of like a writer's block. I know you're doing pretty well right now, so you probably don't have this as much at the moment, but perhaps more so when you're a struggling artist. It's so easy to just get down and depressed on yourself and say, fuck it, no one gives a shit about what I'm doing. I'm not earning any money, so I might as well just get a job and forget music as a career. I can always do that shit on the side. I need some motivating words, man. As much as I love this rap shit, I need to earn some motherfucking paper somehow. I ain't getting any younger. I'm almost 30. I'm thinking we can't all be heroes. Also, a bonus question if you have time. Have you ever thought of starting your own label, or is that too much work for you? All the best and keep killing it out there. Let me first mention this. My friend Anderson .Paak, who's nominated for Best New Artist this year, is 30 years old. A lot of people these days don't get record deals till they're over 30 years old. 2 Chainz, the rapper, didn't blow up till he was 37. It's a world. You're not in, I've met you before, man. By the way, Miracle from Vienna is a fucking really cool dude and a really talented artist, by the way. There's not really, like, with the way you do it specifically, it's not like you're some fucking teen idol. It's not like you're a boy band star. People are going to listen to your music and not really give a shit about how old you are, as long as you're just saying some cool shit and saying shit maybe they can relate to or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Obviously, you need to make money. Before I was able to do it as a living, you got to. That's why I used to always have delivery jobs. Because you can kind of, you're riding around in your car, you can play instrumentals, listen to music, write songs while you're making paper. Today, they got Uber and Lyft. That's a good way to do it. That's a good side hustle. But if you really want to make money, like, then whatever your main job is, you might actually have to focus on a lot. And it is difficult to work a 9 to 5 and you get home and then you tell yourself that you're going to do music on the side, but we're all human beings, man. If you're working, it's tiring, and everybody needs to relax as well. So it's hard. I mean, my brother's in that situation. My brother works, he's got a family, and he still finds not time to do his music, but it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. And as far as me giving you some words to keep going, you just gotta really like doing it. It's hard, man. It's really hard. There's so many people that rap. There's so many people that make music. I'm not telling you to give up. I'm telling you that it's not easy, man. You just gotta keep going. Gotta believe in yourself. I guess. Do you gotta believe in yourself? I don't know. I guess you gotta believe in yourself. I'm pretty sure you got to believe in yourself. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's not easy these days to get yourself noticed. Like, you got to do something either really, really special, or you got to really get people in one at a time. You got to have a big hit song, or you just got to put out tons of shit and it grows and grows. A lot of this shit takes a long time. That's what's frustrating about it. You have to fail a bunch of times until you succeed. Even people that you see that are quote unquote overnight successes have been out there doing their shit for a long time in most cases. But there's this like meme, I guess, that my manager used to post a couple times on like Twitter and shit, where, like, you see like the picture of like a miner, like a underground, like it's like a picture of a stick figure underground digging for like treasure or gold or whatever. And he's dug this big trench, and then I guess he gets frustrated and turns around, and you can see, because it's like this side cut view of the mountain, that he really only had a couple little digs to go before he gets to the treasure. And I think that happens to a lot of people. That's how it feels. But it's exactly when you feel like you can't do it anymore that you really got to step it up, and it kind of tests what kind of person you are or whatever. And, you know, sometimes you have to evaluate who you are. Like, I know I've discovered over a long period of time that I'm not Kanye West. I'm not like hungry every day to kill like Diddy or something. I'm not that guy. But I can muster up enough love for the game and enough belief in myself that every once in a while I'll come through. And that's how I'm going to do in the next couple months. You fucking wait. You know what I'm saying? I hope that helped. I don't know. Maybe that hurt. I don't know. Oh, yeah. So I did have, this is from Raul in Baltimore. What up, Wax? I hope all is great on your side. I bought a handful of tickets to go see you in December in B-More, and I'm super excited to see you guys there. I was wondering if I could get a B-Day shout out on the next podcast. Well, happy super belated birthday, Raul. And if you could shout out my girlfriend, Downey, and my brothers, Antonio and Emmy. I also hit up the other email for the small favor I asked, but I don't know if you had a chance to see it or not. I know you're super busy. No worries, man. I hope you have a kick-ass tour. Be safe. That was from Raul in Baltimore, and since that has happened, I guess that was around December 12th or something like that, Raul proposed to his girlfriend, Downey, from the stage at the Wax and Palmer Squares DJ Skits concert. And she said yes, and I can't help but tell you congratulations. That was a beautiful moment in my life that I'll never forget, even though I'm a fucking forgetful dude. You know, I'll never forget that, though. And thank you so much, Raul. That was awesome. Okay, we got another one here. This one's from Clones 3K. Hey, Wax, it's Clones 3K again, a.k.a. Wax's cough. Jesus Christ, I got to get rid of that cough. Not get rid of you. You know what I mean? Thanks for emailing, Clones 3K. In episode 124, you talk a lot about retirement. Thing is, many rappers don't retire. They either fizzle out, any one-hit wonder, keep touring, MC Lyte, Biz Markie, jump forms of media, Ice-T, or just keep going with it like Jay-Z. Jay-Z's still putting out music with more than enough funds to stop. Of course, he's not doing it as much as Rockefeller days, but he's still got it. Same with Eminem. So my question is, do you think you'll be able to retire from rap? If so, will you stop writing cold turkey or just do it for fun? I love making music, so I feel I'll always be making music until the inevitable genetic Alzheimer's kicks in. Shout out to Taco Cabana, the fast food version of Mexican food. Keeping it chunky like NFL soup. Clones 3K. That's a really interesting thought. The problem with doing podcasts is people always like email me and refer to something I said in a previous podcast. Guess what? I have no fucking idea what I said. It said I talked about retirement. Well, I definitely wasn't talking about myself right now because I'm far from able to retire with the amount of fucking debt I have in my life. But I will say this. Maybe it's because I'm still relatively young. I'm not fucking young for in terms of rappers, but maybe it's because I'm still relatively young, and maybe it's just because I've always kind of been like this. I don't think that far ahead. Like, I don't know. God, especially right now, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I don't know what my next moves are. I'm not good at planning my next moves all the time. I just kind of like have to organically feel shit out and then shit, whether it's making music or making a web series like the Chain Reaction shit. A lot of times the shit just happens, you know? Like, so I don't know. I don't have 5-year plans and 10-year plans and stuff like that. What the fuck is going on in my house? So, hold up, dude. No. So I don't think that far ahead in life. I'm a little bit more spontaneous, but maybe once I'm pushing 40 and pushing 50, that'll change. Now, you mentioned these other people, Ice-T, Jay-Z, and Eminem, MC Lyte, and Biz Markie. You always got to keep in mind, those people's names are definitely much larger than mine. They're celebrities, and these people that are celebrities can make money. They can figure out a way to make money, even if it's a shitty way, like being on some reality show, like I was gonna say, like The Celebrity Apprentice. But I mean, you know, maybe get on that. You might be able to be the fucking president. Celebrity Fit Club. think Biz Markie might even been on that show. But, you can always find a way to make money if you're a celebrity. Now, if you're me, who's just like an underground, whatever the fuck I am, it's different. So I need to figure out a way to make some money, huh? Let me talk this out in my head, guys. How am I going to retire? How am I going to get my 401k going? How am I going to get my hypothetical future children to have some money when I fucking die? How is that going to happen? I don't know. I think I need to find some stuff to invest in. I need to have a good idea. I need to invest in a restaurant or something. I always talk about this like I'm some fucking genius. I'm not. Far from it. I always mention, like, when I first tried Chipotle in like 1998, I was just like, if I had $1 million, I'd put every cent of it into investing in this place. And I wish I would have, because obviously they didn't do too shabby. Am I right? So I need to find something like that, dude. First of all, you need the capital. The rich get richer. There's somebody out there that started their very successful career with like some millions and millions of dollars his dad gave him. I can't remember his name, but he is president right now. Yeah, so I need to find, so okay, let's talk this out, guys. Let's talk this out. So forget that level. Forget finding a good idea and using all my capital to invest in. Where am I going to get the capital from? I can tell you this. The only times in my life where I've gotten large chunks of money is because some song I wrote. Something musical. Got to write another song like Rosanna. Have another hit in other countries. Maybe even have a hit in this country. I don't know. I'm just talking. Not sure what else I can do. The most logical thing for me to do, I think, is just do what I'm best at. And I think that is things such as rapping and songwriting. So I'll continue to do that. What the fuck am I talking about again? All right. Let's fucking push on ahead with whatever I'm talking about. We got another email. This is actually from somebody I met on the tour. Correct me if I'm fucking wrong, Tara M., but I believe I met you at the show in Oakland, which was a great show. I remember meeting, I think I was really, really fucking sweaty. For some reason, I remember when I met you, I was really fucking sweaty and I felt bad. That's why I think that show is one of the reasons why I was like, all right, from now on, before I go do the little meet and greet, I'm going to make sure to change my shirt after the show. Oh, that one was because the way the place was set up. It wasn't set up so I could go change. I don't fucking know. Forget it. Okay. Hey, Wax. So I just finished the end of your podcast from the other day. The end of the podcast where you're talking about getting over heartbreak hit me hard. One of my good friends who I introduced your podcast to sent me a quote the other night before I had finished the podcast that said, "You just have to take the fucking pain." At first, I had no clue what the fuck he was talking about, but once I finished your podcast, I realized I just went through a pretty rough breakup myself. Sorry to hear about that. The short version was that I left my job and my home to move across the country for him. And 3 hours after all our belongings were packed on a semi-truck and shipped to Virginia, he told me that he fell in love with someone else. Jesus. It has been almost a month since this, and the most beautiful and most cruel realization that I've come to is that time passes. It just keeps going, and you really do have to just take the pain. I recently had a conversation with a friend where I questioned how easy it was for me to just leave all that I had built for myself to follow love. I know this happens often, but I realize that for me in particular, I think it's due to a lack of being truly passionate about something. Which, coming to this acknowledgement, sort of makes me kind of sad. I always thought I had passion, but really I think I just have drive. So I am now in search of my true passion or passions. Anyway, I'm mostly just ranting now, and I wanted to say that your music and your somewhat depressing podcast have been very helpful to me in this time of coping and overcoming. The song "You're Not Good Enough" has been my motivation lately. Your passion for music and words has been truly helpful in my time of need. Oh, that's very nice of you. I'm excited to see you in Oakland on the 11th, and I did see you there. That was November 11th. It's January 23rd. Jesus Christ. But don't you guys worry. The old podcast slogan, the old podcast mantra, TPCF, which is now TPCL. I will try to restore that. I'm going to try to really get back on doing these podcasts, y'all. How many times have I given this same speech over the years? I've even given this speech, the speech about giving the speech repeatedly. And probably even this one, if you even know what I'm talking about. It's kind of meta. So, Tara, let me mention something first that I was thinking about. You're talking about having a passion in life. And I was talking to my friend about this recently. It's actually, I consider myself very lucky that ever since I was a little kid, I kind of knew that I had this thing for music. Not only a passion for it, but a talent for it. You know, I'm not the fucking illest. I'm not Prince. But I have a little talent for it, you know? I got a little knack for the I get a little knack for the rat-tat-tat over there, you know what I mean? The talking and the writing and the dancing. not literally the dancing, but I always had a little bit of a knack for music, you know? And you know, I've met so many people in life that are in their 20s and 30s, and they're just like, they haven't found that thing that they love, you know? I think for a lot of people, that thing ends up being their kids. And this might be sexist to say, but that is especially true with women, I believe. The passion that they find that passion with their children. You know what I mean? I can think of specific people that I know. They were kind of lost, like a little bit of like lost souls. And then they kind of found their what's the word I'm looking for? Goal, not goal. They found their I'll just say place. They found their place in life as mothers. You know what I mean? I think that's common. A lot of people always know that they're going to paint, always know they're going to do art. Some people are born and just like, you know people that are always like, yeah, when I was a little kid, like, you know, I was always taking apart the toaster. Every time I got a remote control car for Christmas, I'd take it apart and put it back together. There's people that are like that. They were born with like a mind, you know, and now they own an auto shop or something, you know. That's beautiful. It's very lucky. It's lucky to have something like that because a lot of people, they just don't have that. And, you know, you get into your mid-20s and you're just like, I want that feeling. I know people, I can also think of people like this, people that have drive and they want to succeed, but they just don't have a thing. They probably could be good at a lot of things, but they don't have something that they're excellent at or passionate about. And it's not something that you always discover early. I mean, there's people out there that start podcasts when they're 50 and then have some success with it. There's people that, you know, there's people that find stuff late in life. There's people that do shit like have a career change, you know? People that start being a nurse when they're in their 40s. People that go back to law school when they're 60, you know what I mean? You never know. Anything could happen. But besides that, I'm really sorry to hear about your heartbreak. And it really is true that you just got to take the pain. I would recommend trying to stay away from communicating with that person for as long as you can. Maybe in a couple of years when you're kind of over it, you could be their friend. But until then, let's say you hit that person up and you're like, let's be friends. Let's go out, have a good time. You have a little good time. Even though you might have fun with that person, it's actually a negative. It's actually a negative because it just makes you think about them and shit. So I'd recommend cutting that shit off. No communication. Just let the time pass. That's all you can really do, like you said. I've been there a lot of times, bro. Shit, I had some weird girl shit recently. On several different fronts. But, hey. I appreciate it, Tara M. Thank you so much for coming to the show. It was very nice to meet you. You're very lovely and very... you just had a big smile on your face. I think you posted a picture, I think, on Instagram of us in Oakland. That was such a fun show. That was a really good show. There's a couple shows on the tour because we did Los Globe well, fuck, I feel like an asshole. The first show of our tour was at a small town, a dive bar in California. Then we did Lancaster and Fresno. And then when we did Oakland, it kind of like, I feel like that was when we were like, okay, we know what we're kind of doing. And then for me, my show where I was like, all right, I'm good now, was Seattle. I had a rough set in Portland. That was the only show the only like really, really like, for me at least in my head, the rough set I had was in Portland. It was just that's when I had to change some of the songs I was doing and shit. I was like, just doesn't work like this. But then Seattle was one of the best shows on the tour, and from then on, I thought every show was at least good, if not great. Some of the highlights, obviously Philadelphia. Philadelphia is always top 2. Top 5, because there were so many really good shows in this. I mean, it was crazy how many, like, there was so many like really positive shows. I mean, LA and Baltimore and fucking Cleveland, Boston. There's so many good ones. Bozeman, so many good ones. And I shouldn't even mention it because all it's going to do is make me not mention some of the ones that were probably just fucking incredible, like Denver. All right. Like I said, I've never read this before. So it's got some length to it. That's what she said. It's a little bit lengthy, but it's not really that lengthy. It's like a 2.5-page double-spaced Times New Roman book report. It's like it's like the length of the length of your final paper in 8th grade. You know what I mean? Like in 8th grade, this shit would have been daunting as fuck. But Nate the Plate just handed me this shit like it was nothing. And like I said, I've never read this, but this is the Nate the Plate origin story of the name Nate the Plate. All right. It was cold as fuck. It was like December or some shit, and I was out hiking the Appalachia Trail with my spirit guide, Atanawahiho. You're fucking bullshitting with me. But I'll let it go. Which means one who lives below, according to his Native American heritage, somewhere around southern Maine. There we were, walking along this narrow and desolate stretch of land. Atanawiho was talking about all the ass he gets back at the reservation or some shit, when suddenly we noticed a pack of wolves had been following us. We had no idea for how long. All we knew is that they were definitely aware of us, and these fuckers looked hungry. Atanawiho spoke softly, saying if they got any closer to start making a lot of noises and movements to try to spook them off. But I looked back and noticed that this is, in fact, what was happening. They were drawing in on us. My mind was racing. I was thinking heavily about what Atanawiho had said about the movements and noises and thought, fuck that pussy shit, I'm beating these wolves into submission with the first thing I can get in my hands on. This, quote, thing, unquote, ended up being my collapsible hiking plate. I grabbed that shit off my person faster than a guy grabbing for something really fast. And proceeded to beat the fuck out of this pack of wolves with nothing but a goddamn plate. A collapsible one at that. One of the bastards latched onto my arm at one point, but I beat that little puppy against the trunk of a tree harder than my dick hitting your bitch after a nice sushi dinner. Needless to say, the other wolves were awestruck by the maneuver and proceeded to retreat back to their respected wolf den cave thing. I had officially spooked them off. Atanawiho was amazed and took it upon himself to immediately suck my dick on the spot, adhering to the ancient customs of his sacred heritage. I don't know if you know this or not, but Native Americans can suck a mean dick, male or female. Wow. Ha! This is the second page. Ha, I hope you liked the previous story because I made that shit completely the fuck up. Did you actually think that story was true? You are a fucking moron if you thought that shit was actually true. How the fuck am I, or anyone for that matter, supposed to fend off an entire pack of wolves with nothing but a collapsible plate? Ridiculous was that story I just told. Here's the actual story. Okay, I'm going to get into this, but I'm going to tell you right now, Nate the Plate. First of all, that was pretty fucking funny. Second of all, are you going to be the boy who cried wolf? And that pun was intended? Are you going to tell me another bullshit story? You're going to really get into this? I don't know. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because either way I'm going to read it. All right. So it was 2014 and I was at the Electric Forest Music Festival. Side note, if you've never gone to that shit or even heard of it, do yourself a favor and look into it, which is on the central west part of Michigan. Me and all my friends were tripping dick on some really good acid we got from someone. I don't fucking remember. And our festival mom It's not strange for any given group of friends at a festival to have a festival mom. A festival mom is someone who acts like your real mom would, except she's at the festival you are currently at. This amazing woman takes on the cooking and cleaning jobs and whatnot. You know, mom shit. All right. All right, you're like a festival goer. All right. I don't know if this is more of like I know that the worlds have combined, but I feel like nowadays there's like, Electric Forest Music Festival that could either be like an EDM crazy festival or it could be like a hippie jam band kind of festival. And I think nowadays there's a lot where those worlds kind of combine. But anywho, decided it would be a good idea to eat before we went into the venue to inevitably rage. There was such a long parenthesis here. I don't fucking remember. And our festival mom decided it would be a good idea to eat before we went into the venue to inevitably rage, face, shit our pants. Rage face / shit our pants from the gratuitous amount of bass. The brown note. The plates were getting passed around and me, being the pickiest eater in the fucking world, true as fuck, was the last one to get the plates. I looked at the food and immediately decided I didn't want to eat the bullshit sausage and bacon that was so lovingly prepared for us. But then it hit me. Here I was holding these plates, and everyone else already had theirs. I looked around and noticed there wasn't a table or nothing I could set these plates on besides the dirty-ass floor we were camping on. My acid-filled mind immediately went into a stupor as I could not figure out what the fuck to do with these plates. The confusion of my face / body language was instantly evident. And my boy Devin, who also was on a shit ton of acid, looks at me and just yells, "Plate! You're fucking Nate the Plate, dude." And this immediately killed everyone with laughter. I don't know, probably you had to be there a moment, but I felt as if the story was a long time coming. I promised you this origin story over a year ago and have neglected to deliver. And it was really starting to weigh on my conscience, so I'm literally typing this at my local library right now on the day of your Chicago show for the Cookout Chronicles tour with the Palmer Squares. Oh, I fucked up. What did I say? You gave this to me in Denver? Why did I think it was Denver? There was something similar about those two shows. There's a real, like the vibe of those two shows were similar. I don't know. My bad, Nate. My bad, Nate the Plate. Talk about procrastination, am I right? So yeah, I figured I'd do you and the podcast listeners the honor of delivering not one, but two Nate the Plate origin stories. On top of it being typed out and me handing it to you in person, I think you could say this is a podcast first. Haha, hope all is well with you, Mr. Big Wax, sir. Also, I heavily recommend the band Saint Motel. They're a super catchy alternative group from Los Angeles, and I dig the fuck out of almost all their material. Standout songs for me are Born Again, Sweet Talk, Ace in the Hole, and Midnight Movies. I'll check that out. Take care, Dick Licker. He affectionately ends the thing with. So there you have it. There you have it. As often is, the origin story for people's nicknames is fucking weird. I mean, just the fact that it happened while everybody involved was on acid. I mean, can't really get much weirder than that. So, I guess he was about to go back into the festival and he had a plate with bacon and sausage on it. And he didn't know where to put it. On the ground, which was dirty. No table. And as he looks there, confused with a plate, his boy, who's also tripping, looks at him and says he's Nate the Plate. Sometimes it's as simple as that, y'all. Sometimes it is just that simple. And with that said, I apologize for the kind of, I'm off. I haven't done a podcast in a while. It's just doing some people don't realize the way that I do this podcast, especially considering today I didn't have any notes. And it was a very daunting podcast considering all the possible things I could talk about. Doing a podcast like this is much like playing an instrument. If you don't do it for a while, you just get off. You lose your chops. So I apologize that this podcast was a little bit fucked up. Maybe hard to follow. But I promise, as Donald Trump is my witness, I will improve. I will get better. I will nurture and develop the talents that are within my soul and brain and heart to the point of perfection. You know what's funny about Donald Trump? He can't be good at something. He has to be the best. It has to be, there's nobody that respects women more than me. There's not one person on earth who respects women more than you. Not one. Not one. Not one. I don't know. He has so many funny qualities, man. He's a cartoon character, and he's now our president. Some of y'all don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't know. What the fuck do I know? I don't know anything. All right, be safe out there.